Okay, we are live. Go ahead, Sylvia.
Hello, good afternoon, good morning, good day, good night, and good evening, wherever you are in the part of the world. Again, this is Sylvia Litana Robertson with African Online Media Corporation. Like I always say, I'll repeat myself every Sunday. It's always a pleasure coming into your homes every Sunday and visiting with you and talking with you about what matters most in most of our lives as human beings amidst this COVID-19. For those of you who are not feeling well, we pray that the Lord our God will touch you and provide healing for you. And there are a lot of remedies that people are talking out there, like putting together ginger, garlic, and a little bit of turmeric. And some of them are even saying you add onion and you add a little bit of pineapple for taste. Blend it together, add a lot of water, and keep drinking that. They said when you do catch COVID, it's not as bad as, you know, if you didn't take it. So I'm taking that myself. I actually started today. I'm not sure how effective it is, but I like to share the natural remedies that I hear about, that I practice for myself. So with all that said and done, I would like to also welcome our host, Nia Song, and of course our Reverend Pam is online, as well as one of our members, Professor Agrippa Adizozo, I think is offline. But today's topic actually is educating children in the age of COVID-19. What does the future hold for Africa's children? That's the million-dollar question that we're going to be talking about today, or maybe even a little bit of deliberation and debate. So please stay tuned in. We need to hear from you. You need to weigh in. We're on Facebook Live right now. So please go to your Facebook and join us, because your words, the information that you share with us is very important. None of us know it all, so we learn from one another. Nia Song?
Thank you, Sylvia, and welcome to the show. Good afternoon, good day, good evening, good night, depending on what part of the world you are in, what part of Africa you are in at this time of day, or at this time on this second day of August. Yeah, it's the second day of August. The year is on wheels. August is the 8th month of the year in both the Julian and the Gregorian calendars, and the 5th of 7 months to have a length of 31 days. So we're talking education. So you should have learned that in primary school or in elementary school. How many days have September, you remember those things?
April, June, and November.
September, and so on and so forth. And then how many have 31 days? And how many have less than 30 days? Well, there's only one, February, either 28 or 29. This year, it had 29. That is why it's a leap year. Okay, August 21, or rather, did we finish that sentence? Yes, it's the 5th month with 31 days. Okay, August 2nd is the 215th day in the Gregorian calendar. So we have 151 days until the end of the year 2020. And if you live in the United States or participate in what is coming up in November, we have 93 days until the 2020 presidential election in these United States of America. History, on the other hand, tells us that on August 1st, 1779, Francis Scott Key, take note of that name, Francis Scott Key, who authored the Star-Spangled Banner, which became the national anthem of the United States, was born in Frederick County, right here in Maryland. So I'm a proud Marylander to have had the author of the national anthem come from my state. On August 2nd, 1776, in Philadelphia, most of the 55 members of the Continental Congress signed the parchment copy of the Declaration of Independence. On August 2nd, 1990, again, take note, this is very important, given some of the things that America has done in the world. The Iraqi army invaded Kuwait amid claims that Kuwait threatened Iraq's economic existence by overproducing oil and driving prices down on the world market. An Iraqi military government was then installed in Kuwait, which was annexed by Iraq on the claim that Kuwait was historically part of Iraq. This, of course, we all know now, if we're born already at that time, many of us here now were, resulted in the Desert Shield, that is the massive Allied military buildup, and later the 100-hour war against Iraq. That war was called Desert Storm. Remember, one of the Bushes was president at that time.
H. Bush.
Coming ahead of us in 2 days, on August the 4th, 1961, that is back in history, Barack Obama, the 44th president of the United States of America, was born in Honolulu, Hawaii. Some people still contest that up to today. Barack Obama would, on November 2008, become the first African-American to be elected president, despite all those claims by people who didn't like him and still don't like him, to say that he was not born in America. Anyway, he was born in Honolulu, Hawaii, and he went forth to become the 44th president of the United States. Africa Online Media Corporation joins millions around the world to wish Mr. Barack Obama a blessed happy birthday on Tuesday, August the 4th. We wish him well. Enough of history, you must be saying, and now to today's business. Shortly before the editorial team unveiled this past week's topic, a saying in my native Nwe dialect came to my mind. It literally translates as, only that caregiver that spends the night with a patient knows how that patient's night was. I bring this to mind to remind all of us on Africa Online Media Corporation that the troubles and trials of running a WhatsApp chat room are only better known to the team at the door or in the room. From its very inception, more than 4 years ago, the editorial policy urged one and all to be respectful and mindful of the editorial policy of Africa Online Media Corporation. That editorial policy is the yardstick that measures and distinguishes our chat room from many others. So please abide by the prescriptions of the editorial policy, or as they say, if you cannot stand the heat in the kitchen, better step out for some fresh air. Maybe when you return, you will breathe better, see better, and participate more confidently, sure that the smoke would no longer be so blinding, sure that if you had exited the main road in error, then realized your error, you were returning to a less busy road where the traffic police will not whistle you down and you would continue your trip without any more interference. That being said, as I always like to say, we all agree that education is the key to decency and the mainstay of civilized society. Education opens our hearts and minds to things conceived or thought about and actually given concrete form. Yes, education is the realization of dreams, the waking up in the next morning, folding up your sleeves and going to work to ensure that you transform that dream you had the previous night into reality. We cringed and mobilized resources to fight such groups as Boko Haram that denounces Western education without offering an alternative, and we chastise governments around the world. We criticize them, we say all kinds of things about them for ordering lockdowns, closing educational establishments, and ordering children to stay home because neither the children nor the teachers would be safe if they exposed themselves to the invisible and marauding coronavirus and the respiratory disease, COVID-19, that it brings in its wake. Unfortunately, our children on the African continent are the greatest losers in this whole thing, as neither the governments nor charitable organizations and denominational institutions have adequate resources to provide the education our teeming young population needs in this world of the 21st century. That is why Africa Online Media Corporation raises the concern, educating children in the age of COVID-19. What does the future hold for Africa's children? We believe, and very strongly, that only honest, courageous conversations will shine the light on possible avenues, and individual nations and the continent as a whole can bring forth that which the children need and that which is appropriate and proper for the children. So the African continent should follow its conscience and be able to ensure that it meets the challenge of COVID-19 face on without relenting. The continent is unfortunately still lagging behind in internet connectivity and access, but hope is not totally lost. A few weeks ago, one of the major internet providers pledged to scale back what it charges for internet connections in Africa. Hopefully, officials will not look the other way and let the opportunity pass by because the providers refused to grease their palms. Any person or persons acting that way should know that their consciences will hold them accountable and in check until they repent, relent, and allow unfettered technological growth come across to their children, to the continent, and to the peoples of Africa. Let those in positions of authority know that only they will tell the world tomorrow how our children are doing to gain the education they need and deserve, because education remains the key to every good thing in this world. Sylvia, over to you.
My apologies. I didn't realize I'd accidentally muted myself. Thank you. Thank you very much, Nia Song. Yes, indeed. Education these days has changed quite a bit. Not only has it changed in the United States of America, but in the world at large, especially even on the continent of Africa. We now realize that the internet has become one of our main portals of communicating, even as individuals, not only about school, but about everything else. We did a show or a program a couple of months ago where we were talking about the social distancing, but like Reverend Pam likes to call it, the physical distancing. For sure, it's there, it's here to stay. We don't know how long. So our question is, well, let me make a statement first, then a question. The statement is, in the United States, the internet is very, very easily accessible. And I'd like to believe that in the first world countries or in the European countries, that may be the same over there. I'm not sure how it's done, but I know for the USA, it's very, very easily accessible. Some of it is costly depending on what plan you have, and the other ones, are an affordable plan. So therefore, we are able to be online 24/7. You can wake up at 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m., whatever time, click on your phone, click on your computer, and guess what? Bam, it's wired. You don't have to be looking for bundles. You don't have to be looking for nothing to access like that. You just click and it's there. So what that means is, for our children in the United States, school is a little bit easier to access because they don't have to fight or budget to find money to buy bundles to get on the internet. So what does that mean for our children in Africa? The children who are in the villages, there's no electricity, there's no running water. There are no roads, there are no paved roads, they're what do you call them? These gravel roads where a car cannot pass, maybe just a cow cart can pass and maybe a bicycle. So what's happening to our children in those remote villages that don't have exposure to the internet, that don't even know what a computer is, that don't even know that school now that is out, they have to go online? Do they even understand what the word online means? What are we going to do, or what can we do to help these children so that they also stay on curriculum and are not behind with the rest of the world? We have our regular guest here, or rather our partner, Professor Izozo. I think I'll let him weigh in before I call on Reverend Pam, because from an educational factor, he's very passionate about the youth. And he's very passionate about anything that has to do with children. You'll see Professor's hands even go up when he wants to be emphatic to emphasize a point. So Professor Izozo.
Thank you very much, family. When we talk about education, education is everything. Yeah. Think about how we were educated in Africa. Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay. See. Think about how we were educated in Africa. It always boggles my mind. If you see the whole continent of Africa, we were divided into sections. The British captured some, the Portuguese, the Spanish, the Arab, and they gave us their own languages. Mm-hmm. They did not give us the languages that we speak today in the bedroom, in the plantation, or in the kitchen. They did it in the classroom. They abandoned the civilization we have in Africa before they came in. And now they taught us how to act foolishly just like them. When is he going to take the time for us to wake up and to say that, look, our African education was the best before the whole world came to Africa? That is why everything we do today, it has to be in the classroom. I see no reason why we cannot have Swahili as one of our, lingua franca for Africa, or Yoruba, or Igbo, or Ashanti from Ghana. We have all those languages, but we submit to those people who colonized us, gave us their language, and then they left us behind. It is time for us to stand tall. Every African university is supposed to make sure they redo all the curriculums that we have today. So the future belongs to the children. One thing when they did, my grandmother don't speak English. When they came in, what did they do? They said they focus on we, the children, because we are going to be the future leader of the continent. And therefore, they have to give up their education because through trade, they are going to be dealing with us. The other people, they are too old, therefore there is no time for them. So they gave a time span. And that is why you and I can communicate today. It's a great thing they did that, but let's use it to our advantage. Let's make sure everything we do, let's focus on the children. They are the ones that are going to carry the baton from us. So thank you for this very program. I enjoy it every Sunday, and I can't thank you guys enough. Thank you very much.
Well, Prof, hope you're not going away. Just stay with us. Don't go away, because we will be coming back to you later on, if not in a minute from now. Yes, education is very important. It opens our eyes. It opens everybody's eyes. And it lets us understand that when we are able to learn something new or learn something that we never knew before, we're able to interact better with other people, because it is through education that we learn to really interact with more than just our brother and sister in the family. We learn to interact with other people in our neighborhood, in our city, and in our towns, and in our countries. And of course, today in the world. Sylvia?
Yes, for sure. We learn to communicate with one another, and this as well has been via education. But like the professor said, education actually started in Africa. When you look at these physicists, the numerologists, I can't even pronounce that word without biting my tongue, the great scientists, orators, storytellers, book writers, and so forth, everything emanated from Africa. That's the origin of most of our things that we do in life, including the makeup that I have on my face that started from Egypt. So education has been a very, very big foundation in our lives, starting as Africans. And of course, this education now has also transcended and gone as far wide as we can think, globally. Indeed, the colonizers came in with their own type of education, which is what most of us have been accustomed to or attuned to today. And like the professor said, yes, they gave us a language, which is English and French, German, Dutch, and so forth, Spanish, the national, so-called, quote unquote, national languages that are used around the world. But again, the question is, even though education started in Africa, what are we doing to help enable our children in Africa go to school amidst this COVID-19? Reverend Pam?
Thank you, Madam President. Thank you, Nia Song, and of course, Professor. Professor is not a guest, he's not a partner, he's a member of this organization. A vital member of this organization, and I had invited him on the air to join our management team. We're going to finalize that, but what you said was so good, so important, because the colonizers went with the children, because once a child is above the age of 14, you really cannot teach them anything else. So they couldn't go to the parents. I would have preferred to be taught about Mansa Musa instead of Vasco da Gama discovering the sea route to India. I don't know what that's got to do with me or my future, or about Bismarck. So the curricula needs to be changed on a continent. If we're waiting for the government, I don't know if they're probably still under the influence of the colonial masters. So I want to encourage and urge the private sectors to take this as a mandate and run with it, and start with the kindergarten and the primary school or elementary school students. I happen to know a family friend by name of Isidore. I won't say his last name because his relatives may be watching, but he's from originally. He was from Nigeria. He's of late now. He started in Paris. When he came back, he had started an African language, a language that was supposed to unite the entire continent. He still has a school in Nigeria, where the school is still going on, but that did not go beyond that particular city. Looking at the diversity on the continent, you have the Anglophones, you have the Francophones, you have those who speak Swahili, and some other, of course, there are a lot of vernaculars. It may be a tall order to expect everybody to speak one language, but in regions, they can do it. Since there are a lot of countries that speak Swahili, there are some that speak Lingala, or even, and then there are some that speak Pidgin. There's BBC Pidgin now. We should stop promoting, even if we are still using the English language or French language or Spanish, let's teach our children our history. We don't need to teach them the history of the slave language or slave masters. We can still use the English language and the French language and the Spanish or Portuguese to teach our children about our continent, about University of Alexandria, about all the good things, that happened in Africa. The pyramids have been there for thousands of years. I don't know of any structure in this country that can even match that. But education is very important. In this, we're talking about the future now, so I'm not going to focus on the past. That was just me a bit venting about that or just making a slight comment about that. Before this COVID, our schools were already in trouble because of the curricula. Internet is very expensive on the continent, more expensive than here in the US. Phone services are very expensive, and most Africans, maybe 60% or more, I don't have the statistics, so I haven't looked it up, own phones, and they don't usually own one, they own two. The reason why they own two is because sometimes one of the services are not receiving, they can't get reception in certain areas, so they have to use the other. And Africans are addicted to these phone services. They spend money. There are people that don't have food to eat, but they have money to buy a recharge card for their phones. And we need to educate them about that. What I don't understand is why internet is so expensive and the phone services. That's why these phone companies, they make a lot of money. I've been to the office of one of the main carriers on the continent, I won't say his name, and the elevator there, everything was marble. Okay, where's that money coming from? That money is coming from the farmer that don't even have money for school fees, but they are paying for services. They are paying for recharge cards. And our people are so addicted to it, they cannot do without the phones. Those days are gone. They cannot. A couple of years on this show, I mentioned that we should use social media, WhatsApp, to educate our people on the continent. And I know there's internet access without, there's web access without internet. I had posted something on our management forum a few years ago, about 3 years ago, asking for a volunteer to look that up. I'm hoping that somebody under the sound of my voice will look it up so we can share that information with our students on the continent, that they don't have to have internet to access the web page. So these educational materials can be shared there so they can study. I know in the rural areas it's very difficult, especially without electricity. So they still will not be able to even access the information. But we cannot let it go. We'll still be talking about it. Hopefully the government will hear. Hopefully these companies, and I want to challenge all those Chinese companies and all those foreign investors on the continent, provide educational services for the children in the locality where you are drilling oil, or you are manufacturing something there. What about the children? You may not be able to educate the parents, but provide education for the children. Please do that. It is very important. It is called corporate social responsibility. Over to you, Niason.
Thank you very much for your contribution. And of course, we must all recognize the fact that governments have to work hand in glove with these companies that come in. Because if the internet costs are so high in the continent, it is because governments do not put their foot down and say, no, give us this at this rate. because our people cannot afford what you are charging. Governments just accept everything that the internet providers suggest to them or put forth to them. These things are negotiable. It is a market. And if you don't negotiate the price of something, you will not get it at your convenient price. They will give it to you at a breakneck price, which your people will not be able to afford, except that government wants to provide it free of charge for the people. And I don't see any government in Africa doing that just yet. Sylvia?
Yes, that is so very true. If there was a way that these governments actually would be negotiating some of these contracts, I think this would be to the benefit of our people, in Africa, and especially our students as well. I heard about Zuckerberg going into Africa and doing something with the internet. I'm not sure what it was. It was a very long document. I actually just browsed through and I didn't read it, but I'm hoping that it's something that the kids in Africa will be able to benefit from. Now, we're talking about education in the city. Let me take us a little bit into the villages of some of the African countries. And I'd like to believe that it spans across the whole continent of Africa. About 2 weeks ago, I received a picture of a school, supposed to be a school. Now, this school is a mud house. It's a square, four corner, not square, but oblong building with a thatched roof, which there's nothing wrong with that. It's absolutely fabulous. But the school was breaking down, and then for seats, guess what they were using for seats? They would cut a tree which has two ends like that, stick it into the ground, and then put a log across, and that's how the students were sitting. And guess what? There was no blackboard. The kids were writing on the floor, on the ground, and the teacher would go around and say, yeah, correct, and as soon as it's correct, they erase. You understand? Now, there were some of them who got them wrong, and of course, when you get it wrong, you have to figure out a way to get it right. So if everybody else is looking at you and you can do your math or whatever, whatever subject is, it's quite an embarrassment because it's very public. But when you're writing on a book by yourself or on a piece of paper, there's a little bit of privacy to that, where at least you can put your hand like that so nobody can see what you're writing, or you can put your hand that way so nobody can see what you're writing. Now, I'm bringing this up to say, as much as we're talking about the children in the cities, the children in the villages have never gotten a break. So how do we make this thing feasible for them? I don't think the children in the villages have noticed any difference in their schooling education. Don't quote me, but thinking about the villages that I know, especially in my home country, Zambia, and maybe also Zimbabwe, maybe also Congo DRC, those are neighboring countries that I'm very familiar with. I don't think any of these children in the real remote, deep jungles have noticed that there's even a change in their form of education. So we're now talking about the city children, the city kids. COVID-19 is here. COVID-19 is here to stay. I don't know how long it's going to take or when it's going to go, or if it's going to go away. So for those children of ours, like our host Niason said a few minutes ago, the internet is not free. Reverend Pam said it. You have to house your bundles. You have to keep your bundles for whatever you need to use them for later, but not for school, not for children. You'd rather buy bundles and buy a loaf of bread for your kids because that phone is very precious to us. So what can we as a society, especially those of us in the third world, do to help those children, not only in Africa, I'm sure even on the islands and some parts of the Central Americas and so forth, those that have the considered third world countries. My people, we need to rise up. We need to wake up and smell the coffee and start making adjustments in our children's education lives, especially those who come from poor, downtrodden countries, poor, downtrodden backgrounds. We need to make sure that these children are not left behind, because if they are, guess what? When they grow up, this is when you find the kids are not educated. They'll be running the streets, doing thuggery and all things that we don't want our children to do. Reverend Pam?
Thank you so much. I was just thinking, there's a company that shares the same first name with our organization called Africa Online. And that company is the largest provider of internet on the continent. They are based out of Kenya, Nairobi. We do have a representative in Nairobi. I want to use this opportunity to urge the chairperson of that organization. I am urging him as the chair and CEO of Africa Online Media Corporation to reach out to us. Please email chairperson@africaonlinetv.org. Let's talk about providing affordable internet to our students. We want to work with you. On the internet, I don't know if this is correct or not. It says Ayisi. I'm assuming it's a male. I'm not sure, but I am. This message is directly to you. That Africa Online Media Corporation would like to collaborate with you to see how we can provide, if possible, free internet service to our children in the rural areas of Africa. That's where our concern is. If you are not able to do a free service, let's work with some other organizations to see if they can underwrite a discounted rate. Our children are our future. They cannot be left at home with nothing to do. Again, I am sure your business in Africa has been very lucrative. I am sure you have some philanthropic activities which I'm not privy to, but I am making this plea to you. This is not something that I thought about before the show. This just came to me just now. So this is not calculated or anything. Again, you can email me at chairperson@africaonlinetv.org or visit our website, www.africaonlinetv.org. It's still being updated, but you can contact us. Let's do something about this. Let's do something about it. It's our responsibility. And your future CEO is going to come from that continent. Your future CEO may be a child that right now does not have access to the internet, that does not have access to educational materials, that don't have access to acquire any kind of knowledge, that doesn't have access to any learning projects. They don't. Even with the pandemic, they need to be educated on personal hygiene, on physical distancing, on the importance of hand washing, wearing masks. They can use their scarf. They don't need to use surgical masks. So I am pleading with you. I am urging you to contact me so we can do something about this. Over to you, Niason.
Thank you very much. Where that appeal goes forth, we also want to seize the moment to appeal to African governments. Please don't sit on your hands and do not thinking of your own. Don't sit on your hands and do nothing and say, okay, international organizations will come and do it for us. No. Also seek ways and means of investing, improving your own local telecommunications networks so that when these people come, they have the floor already, the groundwork already done, so they can access the villages, the hinterlands without any more headaches. Because when they come and you don't even have a building for a postal service or a transmitting station in the hinterland, they cannot go there and build a station for you. The government has to provide the necessary infrastructure which will help these companies invest or follow up with what they have brought with them to facilitate access for our children as we're talking. So please, it is up to governments to know that they are partly responsible for not letting this thing go across to our children and to our parents and to our people in the hinterlands, because it's not enough to invest in the cities. Also make sure that you expand everything to the villages so that all the people, not some of the people, will benefit from the resources we're talking about. Sylvia?
Yes, and for sure, some of these internet companies, or before I speak, is Professor Agrippa still online?
Yes, he is.
Prof, did you want to weigh in before I speak?
No,
Professor
continue.
Agrippa.
No,
right.
continue.
All right. I was going to say, with regards to, of course, our government, we also have these local internet providers that are based out of Africa or in Africa, so to speak. Not sure where most of their headquarters are, but they do provide internet for Africans or Africa as a continent. So why can't they, at least, I know profit is one of the biggest things that we all drive. I'm also an entrepreneur, and of course I want to make a profit, I want to make money, I want to be rich, I want to be this and that. But let's put it this way. If we are not investing in our children for tomorrow's future, then what are we doing? What are we doing? Can you imagine if our parents or if our governments did not invest in our futures? Would we honestly have turned out this way, the way we are today? I don't think so. Most of us wouldn't have made it. There are some governments that subsidize for education in Africa, yes. But I want to tag on to Reverend Pam's word, on the chairperson's word. We do have internet companies out there that it's not going to kill you. I doubt it will even bankrupt or handicap your business if you give out a little bit of freebie on the internet, especially for the children who are in school or for the students who need to access online classes, especially those in the cities. If 4, 5, 6, 7 of you internet companies come together and say, okay, our social responsibility is to give back to our community. Let's each give X amount of whatever it is for the internet. And, you know, of course, you'll absorb a loss at the end of the year or a quarter or maybe a fiscal year. But look at what you will have done for our future leaders of tomorrow. Your grandchildren, my grandchildren, your children, our children. We need to stop being so selfish and making it all about me. I need to be rich. I need to be this. I need to have $1 million in the account. There's nothing wrong with being a millionaire, don't get me wrong. But I'm saying as much as we're running and making that money, let's also think about those future leaders of tomorrow. The Reverend mentioned to say the future CEO could be sitting in that village there without electricity. Mm-hmm. The future directors could be sitting in those villages without the internet. Of course, you need electricity to run the internet. That's why I brought those up together. I was going to bring in water, but that's an issue for another day. So to the organizations or the corporations out there, we are begging you or we are pleading with you to please start giving back to the community, especially in those third world countries, which are already so strung out. They're poor, and this aid business too, I mean, it just doesn't come across the way it should. You need to stop giving the fish all the time and start training us, start training these children, start training our future leaders of tomorrow, so that as they grow up, they'll become great fishermen and not just waiting for one fish, one left hand, and you eat it and it's out through the right hand. It can't be like that anymore. My fellow Africans, including our islands, my fellow islanders, those of you who are considered third world countries, let's start coming together for our children, for our future. I'm old now, I'm retired, so hey, it's like, what else do I live for now? My children, mostly my grandchildren. Their future is very important to me as a grandmother. And therefore, I'm imploring each and every one of us that can give back. It doesn't necessarily have to be the organizations or the companies, even us as individuals. There's nothing wrong with us crowdfunding and saying, okay, let's put together, let me just throw a number out, $4,000 every month. We send it to this country for a certain school or for the educational system to put for internet for the students who are in, because like in Zambia, there's grade 7 and grade, 12th grade that are the critical, grade 7, 10, and 12. Those are the critical exams that determine whether a person goes ahead with education or not. That won't kill us. Even as individuals, let's start thinking outside the box. Let's start taking care of our own. This is why all these other people on the outside laugh at us and say, look at them. We'll just spoon feed them and they keep taking it. We got to stop this as Africans. We got to stop being consumers all the time. Let's become producers. What happened to farming in Africa? We have so much arid land there. So much arid land in Africa. If we farm, we make money. Let's take care of our own. Start taking some of that money. Make a deal with the internet company. Listen, we need so much internet access for our children in the X number of schools. If you give us this, we'll give you so much and whatever from the crop. I mean, a barter system, something's got to work. Reverend Pam?
Thank you, Madam President. I don't believe in consumer mentality. I don't believe in giving people fish. I think that's what the oppressors and the colonizers used to hold us captive, not anymore. at the top of the hour, we're going to spend some time talking about our event. And one of our team members had mentioned that the videos that they got from those villages were not up to par. And if we could sponsor, get a professional and pay them to do a professional video. I said, no, we're not going to do that. I said, they have to have a stake in it. If your healthcare facility wants to benefit or is going to benefit from this water, the least you can do is find somebody, pay them a little money and get us the videos. We're not going to pay for those videos. We need to get away from that consumer mentality. When my plea out to this African Online was the biggest provider of internet on the continent, I'm not expecting these children not to do anything. You can give them something to do. They can help you with marketing, teach them what they need to know, and they will market for you. That's their sweat equity. So you give them internet and they give you their talent or sweat equity. I don't want them to get it for free. They need to have a stake in it, but you need to enable them by giving them that internet. I'm saying this because it's very important. And our people, let's stop this nonsense of always reaching our hands out, begging from the white or the yellow people. No, we have enough brains, we have enough money among ourselves to solve our problems. This internet thing, and I also want to challenge our people on the continent who have made it, that have jobs or own businesses. Adopt a child. I'm not saying bring them to live in your house. When I say adopt a child, adopt them by providing internet access to them. If just 10% of the working class on the continent will adopt one child in a village and provide internet access, that would change the trajectory of the future of our continent. I can assure you that there are a lot of things going on in this world that a lot of our children are not aware of. Some of them have never seen an iPad or a computer. So I am challenging you, give up that next pair of shoes, give up that next suit. Your closet is already overflowing anyway. Give it up and adopt a child and provide internet access for that child and change the future of that child. Niaso.
Thank you again. That being said, of course, we know that in this time of COVID and with lockdowns all over the world, it is very important for that internet service to be available because many children now, especially in the developed countries, are doing homeschooling or not homeschooling per se, but they are doing long distance learning. The internet is being used as a teaching tool, but the children in Africa do not have access to it just because that facility is not there for them to use. Even if they had it in the air, they don't have the receptors. That is, there are no computers, there are no laptops, there are no Chromebooks. I don't know if an African child at the moment on the continent even knows what a Chromebook looks like. But here in the United States and in other developed countries, they are using these gadgets to help children learn from home because teachers and students can no longer meet in the classroom. So everything now is virtual. Everything is virtual. So how do we get it to our African children? So African diaspora, it is your challenge to give back to the people from whom you had your own education. Give back to the continent. Do something to have children in as many countries as possible get access to these gadgets, Chromebooks, laptops, and so on, so they can have them at home, even if eventually they don't have the connectivity. But it will come one way or the other, because I was just looking back at that BBC story, which says that company is trying to lower the costs of installing internet connectivity on the continent. And it is one of the companies through which you are watching us today, Facebook. I thought I would not call the name, but Facebook has promised to reduce its cost of installing internet connectivity on the continent. They did this, I think, 2 weeks ago. They said this about 2 weeks ago, and they are working on it. So it is up to our governments to collaborate with Facebook to see what they can do so that the services are available for our children to be able to have access to education from the comfort of their homes. Sylvia?
Yes, indeed. It is Facebook. That's why I said Zuckerberg when I spoke the first time. because like I said, the edition was a very, very long one, and I didn't actually read what he was offering, but it looked like whatever he was offering was going to be advantageous to our young children and our grandchildren back in the continent. So nonetheless, with all that being said and done, with regards to adopting or sponsoring a child in Africa, that's a brilliant idea. If each one of us would adopt a kid and send that kid even $10 a month, don't you think we could make a great difference in these kids' lives? Seriously thinking, $10. How much money do we spend on our weaves as women, the Brazilians? $300, $400, $500. And 3 weeks later, we take it out, put another one. What about the makeup that I use every day? Spend hundreds of dollars on the designer things that don't even bring you merit or anything like that. But if the same money that I'm spending on these Brazilian wigs and weaves and braids and whatever else that we have out there, crochets and stuff, don't we think that this would help our children? Because imagine if Reverend Pam adopts 5 children, I adopt 5, Nia some 5, and Professor 5. How many children is that? That's 20 kids.
That's 20.
With only how much?
Let's do it. Let's do it. Not imagine. Let's do
$10.
it.
That's it. Just $10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 10. Now imagine what a difference this little $10 to us. It's chump change, because in 2 seconds I'll go buy candy, 2 pieces of candy, and the money is finished. But imagine that the same $10 will buy a child a uniform. That same $10 will be able to buy a child a book. That same $10 will be able to buy a child even a lunch, maybe a lunch or 2 at school, if he or she is going to school. Can you imagine what a difference we could make as a diaspora? And like Nia Song said, we have to give back to the continent that brought us and made us into who we are today. Without the continent's education, half of us would not be here. I know I wouldn't be here. So let me just speak for myself. But we have an opportunity and a chance now to where we can make a great, great, great difference for our children, our future children, leaders of tomorrow, not our future children, I'm sorry, our children and future leaders of tomorrow. Let's start something. Let's crowdfund as a diaspora. $10 a month per person. We can choose any country, say, okay, this week we're going to West. We have 5 regions in Africa, by the way. We're 5 regions, North, South, East, West, and Central Africa. God willing, if the AU approves the diaspora, we may become the 6th region. So that will be 6 regions in Africa. But for now, we're dealing with 5. So out of the 5 regions, let's say we raise, I'm just going to be modest and say $2,500. And we say, okay, let's pick a school. We ask the people back home, which is the worst school that needs our help? Which kids don't have books? Which kids don't have this? Which kids don't have that? I'm sure there'll be 1,000,001 schools coming up. Trust me on this one. It will probably overwhelm us, but we got to start from somewhere. And I'm not a coward. I'm a fighter. And that when I start something, I don't stop. So let's all chime in. I don't know where you're watching us from or where you're hearing our message from, but you need to give us some comments on Facebook. Let's see how we can work together. Some of you are probably telling me, well, I can't give you $10 because I ain't working. I got kids to feed. That's very true. We all do. But what I'm asking for is a small sacrifice, just $10. I don't want to sound like the Save the Children Fund where they raise money for children. No, this is different. This is different. Mm-hmm. This is different. This is for the children's education, not for the feeding so much, but if they are taking care of the feeding, so let's also try and take care of their education so that we know that we have smart individuals, smart children that are coming out of our schools, smart children that are coming even from the islands, from the Caribbean islands. Those are all 3rd world countries. All those children need us. They need help. Come on, people. We can do this. Together, we can educate our children. Together, we can educate our children on the continent and in the islands. Let's bring this poverty to us. A halt. Somebody has to start from somewhere. Come on, man. Somebody has to start from somewhere. If not us, then whom? If we're waiting for government so-and-so and government so-and-so and for UN donation and for USA donation, well, guess what? Donations come. The leaders that you have today don't care about you like that. They squander the money. They don't put it into what you're supposed to have. So let's take responsibility for our own, and let's start doing for our children, because we are the ones who are socially responsible to give back to the community. Reverend Pam?
Thank you, Madam President. You know, let's do it. It's not what if, let's do it. Starting with the 4 of us here. Anybody can pay $120 for 1 year. I will commit to that. I would encourage people right now. Our focus is the Operation Borehole 55, but after the borehole, we would focus on this, but they can go simultaneously. You can go to our website, www.africaonlinetv.org, make your donation toward this internet thing, and be sure to specify that is for the internet provisions. But our CFO is not on here, but we do have a CFO who is a certified public accountant, a tax accountant. So 100% of your money will go toward that. But I also want to encourage listeners, you know, we're not just gonna go give this money to the students. We want them to record a video, a video under 5 minutes to anybody can write a letter to say where they are, their age, how this COVID has affected their education, and the computer will select those people. Because we know a lot of things that have happened, corruption with charity donations, that's not gonna happen here. I believe in videos, you know, so we are going to do this in that, but for now, it can start simultaneously. You know, go to our website and make your donation, and please indicate that is for this. If you want to give more than $10 a month, that's fine. If you want to just give a one-time donation toward the internet access to, we're going to start with rural kids. That's very important. But one of the things I wanted to share was also a village, a neighborhood, a compound. It doesn't need to be every individual child having internet to start off with. We can take a compound or a network and have one instructor there, where even with the physical distancing, we put a big screen, TVs are cheap now, and provide internet for that neighborhood. Those of you who are listening, please join us. Don't go and start your own thing, because that's how our people are. You start something, everybody wants to duplicate the same thing.
True.
That's a disease, crap mentality, crap in a barrel. Stop it. Let's work together. It's all for the same Mama Africa. You know, don't listen to us on this show now and go start tomorrow, start your own, or the same time we are talking. Let's do this thing. It's for our continent. It's for our people. Join us. Let's collaborate. You know, I can't tell you how many people have started are doing the same, try to do the same thing we're doing. I'm not being critical. I'm just saying that let's collaborate, you know, so that we can move mountains, because different people will come out, different diversity, and then confuse donors. So I want to say that, let's say you go to a rural community, even if it's just one internet class, we'll call it one internet school. They put it, I don't care if it's under a tree. We make sure they have a power there and internet, and all the children in the village can come. I don't care if they're sitting on stones or on tree trunks or whatever, or sitting on mats, but they have access to this education, sitting 6 feet apart with their mask and getting that education. Initially, that's how we're going to start. So go to our website, www.africaonlinetv.org, make a donation there. We're a 501c3 organization. You'll get your tax write-off from our accountant, you know, and indicate that it's for the school, for internet access.
Internet.
And we will definitely have to pay a teacher, because they're not going to volunteer. We don't want them to start and then the next week they don't show up. They'll be held accountable, but this is something we're going to focus on later on. Our focus for now is the water, because water is life. You need to be alive to be able to have internet access. And as a side comment, our sister organization is actually working with a group to provide educational access, but not exactly what we are talking about. So this is different. So we're going to go ahead with this, because what they are trying to do is way, way bigger than this. But when we do these shows, we are here to look for solutions, not just raising awareness. Our motto says we're raising awareness about issues that affect Africans, seeking solutions. And these are the solutions, as Madam President said, and I'm making a commitment that I'm going to donate my own money, you know, tonight. I have to preach after this, but I will do that on our website. The CFO is going to see it. it will go toward that educational funds. She talked about $10 a month. You can do $10 a month, or you can do a one-time donation of any amount that you want. But be sure to specify in the memo that is for internet access. And we're not just going to give your money to, there will be no embezzling of the funds on the continent, or mismanagement or misappropriation, because the children that are going to get this, they'll have to do a video. They'll have to do a video. One person is going to have to go do a video of those children in that village and send it to us, so you know who is benefiting from it. And on our website, we're going to show updates when they're getting the classes. We have 5 minutes to the top of the hour. Let me hand back over to Nia Song so that somebody else can weigh in before I come back at the top of the hour.
Yes, at this point, I don't know if our brother, Professor Agrippa is with us. He has been quiet for 27 minutes, 28, no, 50. I believe.
I think he took a nap.
I believe.
No.
He was listening.
No, I'm listening to all the good things that you guys are discussing. I mean, to me, I'm very happy that we have some passionate people who think about the continent. This is not for you. Most of us live in America. We see how the life work. And for you to come out with your own money to help the continent is admirable. Now, let's take one step further, if you guys will allow me.
Of course.
Africa is not poor. Africa is rich. Has any one of us thought about how much money each country spends on the military? Think about that. Every country, about 196 countries on this earth, has military budget, including Africa. What will stop us from telling our African government to take 1% of their military budget and put it into education in the continent, if they really care about the future of our children? Morocco has about $10 billion annually for military budget. South Africa, 4.6 billion. Nigeria, 3.2 billion. And I can go on and on and on and on and on. Only Liberia has $10 million for military budget. What is that money doing? Has any African person questioned how much money we spend on the useless guns that we don't even know how to make? But we use those guns to kill ourselves, kill our children. And we have never think about the woman who gets pregnant for 9 months, went through the labor, raised that child up sleepless nights until the age 18. In America, they say, be all you can be in the military. Then foolishly, we follow America, giving us the guns. The guns that they make, they are killing black kids in America. If those guns have been killing white people, they will have changed the laws a long time ago. But we in Africa, foolishly, we have to spend our money to buy the guns, killing ourselves. And we have never had peace since we have had all this military. So before we say that we should take our own savings for education in the continent, can we answer ourselves a question? What kind of peace have we brought to the continent with all those money we spend in the military? We're only asking for 1%. If you have $10 for your military budget annually, give us 1 and keep 9. You'll see what we can do with $1 from your budget. That is a food for thought. It is something that for the whole continent to think about. If you are a president and you don't listen to your people, continue. But we have to wake up the young minds, the consciousness. That is exactly what we need to do. We live in this very country very freely because some young kids like Martin Luther King, John Lewis, Dr. Bernard Lafayette, C.T. Vivian, and I can name all these people, they went to the street and demand freedom. Freedom will not be given to you voluntarily. If we really want a change, we have to sing the song like what you guys are doing right now on this media. You think people are not listening? People are listening to us. Monday better. I only congratulate you. Don't stop. This song, we're supposed to sing it on a daily basis. Thank you for now.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you so much for your resolute way of saying it, firmly stating it, the fact and nothing but the fact. Thank you so much. Don't go away. We still have 30 minutes to go. But for now, we'll hand over the microphone to our chair lady, Reverend Pam, to have that top of the hour or those top of the hour announcements. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Niasong. Prof, on behalf of the organization, Africa Online Media Corporation, I really want to appreciate you. We're in this together. I would just want to say, personally, I don't trust our government. And I even when if you read my write-up on our event last year, I mentioned the government there saying that we're not asking them for money. We just want them to open the gates so we can come back home. Because not only are they not doing what they're supposed to do, they are putting obstacles and roadblocks to those of us in the diaspora that want to come help our people. So I am still going to encourage our private organizations, individuals to take up this challenge. Let the government keep sleeping or doing whatever they are doing or eating or doing whatever else they are doing, which I'm not going to go into because we are a political and a religious group. Let us, the sons and daughters of Africa, take these challenges and look for solutions and implement them. Hopefully one day the government will wake up and realize that what they should have done for centuries, their children in the diaspora and on the continent have done it. Just yesterday, one of our sisters on the continent, Evelyn, went on the website to make a donation toward the Operation Borehole 55. She's on the continent. She's not waiting for us here in the diaspora to start making donations. So I will still encourage individuals to do it. It's good that you are calling out the government. Hopefully they will wake up and do something about it. We know that on this show, in the last 4 years, we've made a lot of impact. We are not able to track it because we don't really have the manpower to do that, but we'll keep doing it because people are listening. They are watching on Facebook and they are forwarding the show. Talking about announcements, you know, we're gonna spend some time talking about the Operation Borehole 55 that's coming up. I want to encourage everybody under the sound of my voice. We want you to be part of this. Water is life. Operation Borehole 55 is a vision that came toward the end of 2016. It became as Operation Borehole 54 because at that time Morocco was not part of the AU. We changed the name to 55 after Morocco rejoined the AU. And is to put clean running water in rural areas in each of the member nations, the AU member nations. We are going to start with the rural areas. That's our focus because they've been left behind. You know, and we found out, I think it was last month, that their healthcare facilities don't have running water. So we will start with healthcare facilities. However, those communities that those facilities are located in are going to benefit from that water. And last Sunday, you guys had our brother Ike that was on this show. He will be part of the engineering team and the implementation team to make sure that water is equipped with pipes to have running water in the clinic itself and in the neighborhood. But we'll also have solar pumps, you know, attached to the borehole so that we don't run into a situation where there's a borehole but people cannot get the water out because there are no lights. So that's going to be, these different team members are going to talk more about that. But we are encouraging people in those rural areas, or if you live in a city and you know of a rural area that has challenges with water, get us a video under 3 minutes. Make sure you introduce yourself. We not really care about your titles. And in the video, indicate that you are doing that video for Africa Online Media Corporation, Operation Borehole 55. So you are giving us permission to use that video to raise funds. I'm going to tell you this. If you want your community to benefit from these funds, you have to participate. You cannot sit in your bedroom and think that we are going to come as a savior to provide water in your village. You need to get involved. Starting tomorrow, we're going to be talking about garbage disposal on the continent. This is very critical because even with this pandemic, we're talking about personal hygiene, cleanliness, or whatever. Garbage disposal has been a problem on the continent. We have seen how different companies in the diaspora, not African-owned companies or Black-owned companies, dumping rubbish on our continent, even computer parts, different things. That is on a different level, in a large scale. But what about us, our neighborhoods, in our houses? How do we dispose of garbage? There are garbage. There are some cities that have even made efforts to put garbage bins in the neighborhoods, and people still come and throw instead of putting it in the bin, they put it outside and still throw stuff on the floor. It doesn't make sense to me at all. It beats my imagination. And then they have this saying that in Pidgin that says "Black man not die dirty." Are you kidding me? That's not who we are. So we're going to be talking about garbage disposal starting tomorrow. I know some people burn the trash that they collect in their neighborhood or in their compound. So we want to encourage everybody, share your experience and your information, share it on our on our Facebook page. You can go to our website and email us how you dispose of garbage. And so I'm going to hand over to Nyasong, and each member of the team will take a turn talking about the Operation Borehole 55 that's coming up on September the 6th. Over to you, Nyasong.
Thank you again. And yes, it is very important that we participate, that we join Africa Online Media Corporation on the 6th of September to chip in so that together we can realize this dream. It is a dream, yes, but a realizable dream. Water is life, as you heard our chairperson say. Water is life, and in these days of COVID-19, it's even more imperative that we provide our communities with the water they need, not just for drinking, not just for washing their clothes, not just for cooking food, but also to be able to wash their hands, because we are recommending that we wash our hands as much as possible to prevent or to keep away the coronavirus. So it is absolutely important that we chip in, that we come in force on the 6th of September to contribute towards this project. Opération Borehole 55, donner à l'Afrique l'eau portable dont ses citoyens ont besoin. L'eau, c'est la vie, vous avez compris, et nous espérons que vous allez nous joindre le 6 septembre pour donner vers cette opération Borehole 55. Merci et bonne chance, et à vous revoir le 6 septembre. Sylvia?
Yes, absolutely. Operation Borehole is scheduled for September 6th, and I'm so excited about it. And I would like for you guys to be as excited as I am, or as our team is. You know, we keep using the motto, water is life. For sure, water is life. Look how clean I look right now. If there was no water right now, I'd have boogers here running here. I'd have boogers in my nose. Dandruff would be running. There would be tears everywhere and drool everywhere. Would you love to see that ugly face? Come on now. Water is life, right? We want to look beautiful. We want to look clean. We want to smell fresh, as well as stay hydrated. A lot of you may have seen me taking my cup. I love my tea. But how am I going to make my tea if I don't have my clean water, or my is it purified, right? The purified water, so to speak. Yes, we can boil water that is dirty, but how pure? There you go. Cheers, cheers, Rev. I see your cup. I don't think your son has one too. Cheers. There you go. See, that's water. Yeah. Yes. So what we're doing is, let me just update you a little bit for those of you who haven't been following us for the past couple of weeks regarding Borehole 55. Operation Borehole 55 is an initiative that we have undertaken as Africa Online Media Corporation. And the reason we want to do this is because we realize that our children or our families in Africa do not have access. Most of them in the rural areas do not have access to clean water. Believe it or not, I watched a video once upon a time from Zambia. I don't know how long ago it was, where a clinic had a big basin, a maternity clinic. Now this is where they give birth, right? A maternity clinic had a big basin with water. These women would dump maybe 3, 4, 5, 6 buckets in there, and the water would be, pretty full. Now, what really shocked me and brought tears to my eyes was every baby that was born within those first 3, 4 hours of that water being there, they were using the same water to clean these children. Now, come on, people. Is this where the 21st century is taking us to? Can we not honestly do something about this? Can we honestly not do something about this? Why should it be in this day and age be like that? I keep referring to my hair, the Brazilian hair. We spend so much money on this hair, so much money on this hair, makeup, clothes. I swear, Reverend Pam, you hit the nail on the head. I'm guilty as charged. Closet full of clothes that I haven't even worn in 10 years. Closet full of shoes, wigs, whatever you want to call it. But honestly, is it really that necessary that I have all this stuff? No, it's not. If my brains were working properly those days when I was Sylvia, I think I would have saved that money and done something like do a water project like we're doing today. Because right now I feel guilty, very guilty and very bad and emotional every time I remember that video. I saw a video from DRC, I think it was 2 weeks ago. Stagnant water, filthy. It looked like there was oil on top. I don't know what we call that film that comes on top of the water when it sediments. I'm not sure what the right word is, but to me it looks like it's oil. It's not oil, but that's the cover of the water. But here they are, people are fighting who got there first to fill up their containers. And this is drinking water for the family. Come on, people. What are we doing? What are we doing? We are in the diaspora for a reason, not to come in here and just be looking pretty like I'm looking pretty right now. Come on now. Let's do something. Let's make a difference for our continent. Boho 55 is here to stay. Like it or not, we got to do this together as a family. As a family. We need to join hands. Ubuntu is what we're talking about. The Boho 55 initiative is not only for Africa online media. No. It's for everybody that is out there, the diaspora. Come one, come all. Let's put this thing in operation. Let's show the people in Africa that we still care for them. We love them and we want them to be as healthy as we are in the first world country. So you guys who want to donate, you can go to Cash App, Africa Online TV, as TV as in television.
Africa Online.
Just Africa Online. My apologies. As on the Cash App, it's Africa Online. The $ first, then Africa Online. That's it. No TV. $ Africa Online. That is for the Cash App, because I know a lot of us in the United States are using Cash App. Those of you on the continent, please do go to our website at www.africaonlinetv.org. Africa Online TV, T as in Tom, V as in Victor.org. Meaning you can go on there. There are many ways that you can donate. We're still working on the GoFundMe handle as well. As soon as our CFO is able to give me a link to that, we will also have it on the website or even on Facebook so that you guys can donate. This event is for September 6th. If you or you know anybody in a village in the remote parts of Africa that is going to fetch drinking water, bathing water, washing water, whatever water, from the stream, from the sedimented whatever rivers or dams. I saw some people, was it in Sudan, digging for muddy water. Jesus Christ, this makes me cry. We cannot have this in this 21st century. We need to help our people put those boreholes. Each borehole will serve a community, and trust me, this community will be grateful forever. Many centuries from now, hopefully, God willing, if the world doesn't come to an end, other people, our children's children, our descendants are going to be beneficiaries of that borehole. So let's just not look at it for today. Let's look at it for tomorrow and years to come. So Africa Online Media Corporation is calling out to each and every person that is out there. It doesn't matter how small the amount is that you give. Whatever you can give, we'll appreciate, because it adds up. It adds up. We are not doing this for our self-gratification, my people. We're not doing this to make a name for ourselves or so that somebody can give us a pat on the back. We are doing it because it's a necessity. A great necessity. So let's come together. If you have a video that you'd like to share with us that has to do with water, it doesn't matter which area it has, which is coming from, on condition you make the video owner make a statement claiming that they are doing this for Africa Online Media Corporation. The video is being done for Africa Media Online Corporation. We want to bear the rights to that so that nobody comes back to sue us to say, you used my video without my permission. This is a very good cause. It's a very noble cause. It's a very needed and wanted cause in the world. It's not only one time, two time, no, it's forever. So my people, let's get together. Let's crowdfund again. I know you probably say all she's doing is asking for money today, but you know what? Without money, a lot of things don't get done. Somebody got to get paid to do something. So let's all come together. Operation Borehole 55. Let that sink into your head. Operation Borehole 55. Operation Borehole 55. Let's run with this. Let's do it together because September 6th is showtime. Let's see how much money we can raise together. And once the money is raised, we will announce it publicly. And as soon as the computer does the drawing for which countries or which country has been chosen, you will be notified. Our chairperson did mention to say, for your country to be a participant or to be able to participate in the drawing, your country folk, your countrymen, better be on the ballot to donate some money. Because we're going to check, we know ourselves by names. If you hear my name, you know I'm from this part of the country. If you know my name, you know I'm from that part of the world. So my people, let's come together. Operation Borehole 55 is for us. It's our job. It's our responsibility. We need to give back to the community.
Thank you, Sylvia. I see Dr. Ogoji is comfortably relaxing on Monday afternoon, and I believe he's following us, but he will need to unmute himself. Thank you, Doctor. And I hope you are not being tired because you delivered so many babies today, but we're talking about education.
He's relaxing.
But also more importantly at this moment about the need for Operation Borehole 55 to be successful. Dr. Ogoji. Good afternoon.
Yeah. Afternoon. How are you?
Fine, thanks.
Okay. Can you hear me?
You're coming in to separate.
Yeah, my brother is with us. That's good.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. There you go. What do you have to say about Operation 55? I mean, Operation Borehole 55, and from there, educating our children in the time of COVID, especially in Africa. Start with the water, please.
Oh, well, we know that water is life. I begin to wonder how people live without water. In my own personal house, when I used to buy water, even though I buy water every time, in those days when the water runs out, water I bought from a tipper of a tanker, you can see that when I want to flush my toilet, I will economizing the water. If water runs out for just 6 hours, the nature of the house changes. You can hear some small amount of smells coming out. But once the water is running, I still manage how much water I can use to flush my house because I'm trying to save water. Since I sink a borehole in my house changes from where they manage water from where you use water as you need. So this is a personal house, not to talk of a hospital, an institution, a school, a market, a public restroom without running water. So without running water, people will get sick of dehydration, sick of waterborne diseases, sick of coronavirus, sick of hunger, because some people, if without water, you cannot properly wash your vegetable or wash your meat or things like that. So water is life. With water, everything changes. So Operation Borehole 55 is a very wonderful project. Our goal is that even if we're able to sink 2 boreholes in 2 facilities, that's more than enough. If it changes, I mean, it's not enough, but it's something. Every change starts with a step. Every 1 million miles starts with a step. So starting with 1 facility, it becomes an ongoing project. Hopefully, as time goes by, we're going to change the life of communities around the world, wherever we're able to sink 1 borehole. So 1 borehole provides for the facility and provides for people around them and provide for the whole community. And hopefully, the beneficiaries of this borehole will try to emulate this as they become older and more responsible adults. So that's my take on water. Water is life. Let's do it. Even if it's just 1 borehole will sink, we want to sink as many as 10, 20, 30, but starting with 1, 2, 3 is always a step in the right direction. We're going to get there. So education of children.
You all got me thirsty, so I have to go get a bottle of water for myself. So Dr. Ogoji, talking about educating our children in time of COVID, we know that many schools are on lockdown, many places are on lockdown, not only in America, but also on the continent. So what do we do to help our children on the continent learn from home now that they cannot go to the school building?
Well, again, I will say this is my own take. COVID-19 is a very serious disease. It's a deadly disease. It kills, but we in Africa don't have the very, very vulnerable population that will die of COVID-19. So I will encourage every African community or country to let the children go back to school if possible. If it's not possible, the next thing is, how can we do an online study? Children in this part of the world, in America and different countries, start learning how to type when they are 1 year old. They are familiar with the computers. Even at that, I live in Spokane. I belong to a very good school district. Across 30 minutes away from my house is a state called Idaho, a city called Coeur d'Alene. Not every kid in that school has computer. Not every family in that school has access to the internet for the Wi-Fi. Even in my school district, where my school district will assume there is a place of rich people, when the school was suddenly closed 3 months ago, the school have to list laptops to students who cannot afford laptop. You suppose more than half of the kids in my school don't have laptop. So school have to give them laptops, have to give them internet Wi-Fi to educate their children. So if this is a problem in America, in West Coast America, where even in my school district, where they assume most of people around me are assumed to be millionaires in America because of the school district where I am, you can only imagine what it is in Africa, back in Nigeria, where this public school is already failing. Private school is already very, very expensive for the average family. So I would say wherever possible, the kids go back to school, if possible. When not possible, then I don't know how they can make sure that there's an available Wi-Fi for students to learn, how the teachers themselves to learn how to use the computer and do online remote learning. It's going to be a challenge. It's really, really going to be a challenge. I don't have an answer to that. My answer is that let the kids go back to school with applicable social distancing. And for those who can afford it, let them donate laptops, computers to school. And if government can wake up and start producing laptops or work on the power supply, how can you talk about laptop without power? How can you talk about distance learning without Wi-Fi or data? So I have no answer. The answer is kids should go back to school. The coronavirus is very unlikely to kill our children. We don't have a lot of 70-year-olds in Africa that is going to die of coronavirus. There are a few of them. I'm not saying they are not important, but what's happening in the U.S. cannot happen in Nigeria or Cameroon or other African countries where the life expectancy is between 50 and 60 years. That's my take on that. They should go back to school.
Sylvia. Okay, I think Professor Agrippa is still with us, yes. And we've talked about the Operation Borehole. I know you're very passionate about it, but let us hear more from you today. Professor Agrippa.
Yes, thank you again very much for what you do. Operation Borehole 55 for Africa, I think, is one of the best initiatives that have ever come to the continent. Amen. I can't imagine me owning a house in Africa and I have access to water because I have the money to drill my borehole. I have the money to buy a generator for my electricity, and then my neighbors don't have nothing. How good am I of a human being? And this thing goes on, and then especially in Nigeria, where is my country. When all the politicians, they have all the amenities for them, but yet their neighbor don't have nothing. So I'm commending all of you to stand up for it. Don't give up. I know it's going to be difficult, but I know there are some good-hearted individuals in the continent that will listen to this very important initiative. So I'm committed, and I want all of you guys to be committed. Let's do it. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you so very much. Chairperson, Chairlady, Reverend Pam.
Yes, I just thought about something. I want to challenge all the Africans that own houses on the continent. I know you have water in your homes. Make it available to your neighbors. I'm not saying that they should come to your kitchen or your living room to carry water. Put a tap outside your fence. You're not paying water bill. The water is coming from the ground. You may be paying the electricity. Put a tap outside your gate for your neighbors to access that water. Don't think that you are a hero because you're the only one with water in your whole village or your neighborhood. It is not something to be proud of. That water is coming from the earth. It's free water, free clean water from the Lord. Share it with your neighbor. Put a tap outside your gate and let people come and carry water. If you want, you can put a time, a few hours of the day that people can come and carry water, or assign somebody to control it so they should not waste the water. But share that water. It doesn't belong to you. You may have paid for it, but the water is coming from the ground. Over to you, Niasa.
Thank you very much. Sylvia, I believe you have a question or two for our brothers on the panel now.
I want to add something to what Reverend just said, if possible.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Something to add?
Yeah. So
You are muted. Dr. Ogoji, you're muted.
can you hear me now?
Yes.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
So I personally bought some solar lights from here that shine from morning to evening. I put 10 of them on the street leading to my house. And this place used to be very, very dark. When I did this, the whole community was happy because the light was there.
Yes.
Within 3 months, I would say within 3 months,
They stole it.
5 other rich people in my community who have generator went and bought lights that are very, very cheap, less than $10 lights, and put on this existing pole. I use ordinary wire and connect from their house to those poles. So every time they start their generator in their house, the whole community has lights. It costs them nothing. It just costs them the bulb.
Yes.
Excellent.
So that is an initiative. So same thing with water. If you have water in your house, bring a tap outside. People should get it free.
Yes.
Because trust me, those things, the reward is in heaven.
There you go.
Amen.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Dr. Ogoji, while you before you came on, we were talking about a challenge that we've given ourselves regarding the internet.
Online.
We were saying most of our children back home don't have the money, or the parents do not have the money to access internet, even if there's electricity somewhere within the area. So I was asking and say, can we not crowdfund by each donating $10 at least towards the course a month? Even if we raise $500, $600, $700, it doesn't matter what we come up with. We send it to a certain area that we know is really, really in dire need of that money. And there will be transparency showing where the money was sent and how it has been used. So Reverend Pam also topped it by saying we should commit ourselves to doing this. And she has already committed her $120 for the year. If you want to pay $10 a month, that's fine. $60, whatever you can pay towards this, it will be fine. But we need to start from somewhere. It's true, you did say there's no electricity in most of the areas, and I agree with you on that. But at least 65 to 70% of the rural areas have a city somewhere that is close to them that does have electricity. So if internet is being provided, like Reverend Pam says, we get a teacher who will also be paid to teach those children using a TV screen, like she said, the same way we're looking at each other right now. She streamlines or whatever, teaches her classes from the screen. That will help our children a lot. It may not be much, but it's a start.
We have less than 1
Yeah,
minute.
that's fine by me. That's fine by me. I'm in. No problem.
Thank you.
Thank
You're
you.
always in.
Okay, let's now take a last lap. I think we have no time for that.
No time.
So
Less than 1 minute.
Reverend Pam, your last word, then we can close the program. Sylvia,
Dr. Goji, you are always in. I did not, I intentionally did not put you on the fundraising committee because you're already on the board WhatsApp, but I know you are committed, you know, and I just thank all of you. Brother Agrippa, you are awesome. Sister Sylvia, thank you for bringing him on board. And Niasong, of course, you are always there. We're out of time, so Niasong, I'm just going to hand over to you.
Sylvia, give your bye-byes.
Thank you very much. Viewers, as usual, we'll come back next Sunday with a different topic for you, but please participate in Operation Borehole 55. Participate as well in the contribution that we're putting together for this internet for our children back in Africa. May God bless each and every one of you. Come on, Ubuntu. Together we can achieve much.
Thank you.
There you go.
Thank you, Professor Agrippa. Thank you, Dr. Ogoji. He never fails to come in. Thank you all very much. And please do have a great week. August is here with us. Summer is gradually but surely drawing to a close. So if you haven't had that summer swim, I swim like a stone. So, but if you haven't had that summer swim, go for it before you get back, before summer gets out. Thank you all very much. And please, you know, the days are getting shorter because as we go towards the end of the year, the days too are also getting shorter. Thank you all very much. And wish President Barack Obama a happy birthday on Tuesday.
Happy birthday, Barack.
Bye for today.
Bye-bye.